Welcome back to Era of the Dreamers, the podcast where you come to refresh, regenerate, metabolize your feelings with your two co-hostesses, Sage Adderley and Maria Alejandra, also known as MA. How you doing, boo?
Just being a human over here, no worries.
You know,
Moving things.
uh I am moving things and I'm just like every day, like, why is every day like so? Every day is different, and that's a good thing. And also, I'm tired. Every day feels like it's got its own agenda. But
Yeah.
also, my days are very like groundhoggy because I don't do much. Like, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have this whole groundhog situation going on, which is, ugh. And sometimes it's nice to have be in that flow of routine. But most of the time, I'm like, oh, there's other things I'd love to do and experience, but I'm here and I'm happy to be here. And, but even in that groundhogginess, every day has its own agenda. And I'm just kind of like, okay, where do you want to go today? Like emotions wise.
Yeah.
The weekend was fantastic. Monday was like, oh, kind of like a recovery day.
Mhm.
I was in bed a lot and like watching TV and just chilling, doing all the other things, but just taking it easy. Tuesday hit me like a mother effing ton of bricks, like a shitstorm that I was still trying to get out of. Wednesday was like recovery day or like aftermath, not recovery, aftermath of Tuesday.
Mhm.
Today is maybe a little bit recovery. Thursday. I'm tired.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel you.
tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I know. I get it.
And it sucks to have like ideas of things that I want to do and just little things. And they kind of like pass me by, or I just may not just have the bandwidth to do them. It's like even in my best intention of having the willingness to have a certain kind of day, because I do believe that I like create my day, right? Like I believe that.
Hmm.
But then it's like when I believe that, but then the day kind of ends up creating me into, well, I don't know, sometimes a pile of mush. It's hard to kind of reconcile those two things. Um, and I think part of what I'm supposed to learn in this most recent dragging, shredding, all the emotions experience is what I was trying to articulate this morning to you. Sage is one of the only people. There's maybe like two people in my life that I could just leave a 4-minute message that makes absolutely no sense, and she will somehow be like, same girl. Right?
Yeah, we do that with each other. I'll be like, does that even make sense? Or I don't even know what I'm saying. You're like, no, I hear you. Like,
I was like,
I
are you
got
in
it.
my head right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing because when you're in that space of like pouring out and you're like hearing yourself and you're like, what is happening? What am I saying? Is it making sense? And that's disruptive because you want to make that connection, you want to share. So it's so comforting to have a person be able to go, oh no, I got it. It filtered
Yeah.
right on in. I got it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Noted. And you said about making sense.
Hmm.
I think that pinpoints a lot of what I'm like struggling right now, that I'm kind of like, all right, integrating. My soul wants to integrate this idea of things will not make sense, which I know. I know. Like I've experienced that. I've worked,
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
not absolutely expecting, oh, everything has to make sense. But there is a part of me, 100%, that is like, and maybe everybody has that part. I don't know. Or maybe just some of us that are built a certain way. have that part in us that goes, oh, but we can somehow make this make sense. And
Yeah.
that has really like thrown me for a friggin' loop this week. That sort of like realization and sitting with the this may not ever make sense. And that is just how that is. And it's a weird feeling because part of it is like, oh, there's like a tiny bit of relief, I guess. And like, but there's also just this sort of like, but wait, like, do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
100%. And I think for me, I went through a big period of time trying to make sense of all the things that I felt like I needed to make sense of. And then I recognized I'm probably not going to get that with everything that I want to get it from. And so it's kind of a acceptance, surrender piece around I may not know the who, what, where, when, and whys. And it's part of this big experience that I'm having. And maybe I'll know one day. And maybe I won't, but I'm trying to make peace with the fact that I don't need to know. I may want to know, but I don't need to know in order to keep moving forward.
Right. And that part, because I'm still committed to that thing that I don't, may not understand.
Yeah.
So it's that holding, like, I don't, this doesn't, may never
Yeah.
find that making sense piece, but I'm with it.
Yeah.
Um, and I wonder how much of it are like our brain, and I think more than our brain that wants the part that wants to make sense, right? That wants to connect with something, understand it, and feel, I don't know if it's the making sense of it, the purpose of it, whatever, because that then gives us more of the fuel to stay with it.
Mhm.
And then when that isn't just doesn't exist, and you come to maybe accept a little bit more the fact that it's not up to you to make it make sense, because that's the other thing that I know I have is this sense of I can do, like, it's my responsibility
Mhm.
for myself, and because I can, there's some way that I can. And I don't know if it's the optimism or if it's just some naive like hope.
Mhm.
I hate calling hope naive, but it's like this thing that you're just like, oh, sure. And then these moments where it's like, no. And no matter what you do, it's just going to stay that way. And it doesn't mean that way is bad. It could be very painful, but
Yeah.
it's not wrong.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really like grappling with it. Like I'm fully in it
Mhm.
right
Yeah. I
now.
mean, it reminds me of like when my ex was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it was the first relationship I had after Bradley died. And 6 months in, he gets the diagnosis, and it's like, I mean, the first thing I thought was, I really do think my first thought was, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, you've got to be kidding me. And I think there was a moment where I was wanting to understand, why is this happening? Like, it felt very personal. It was hard not to take it personally, like to lose a partner and then to possibly lose a second partner. Like, who the fuck needs that lesson? I don't, like, no, thank you. And so but I remember it's so intense to be in a situation like that, that I just surrendered to being in the experience of it. And I really remember just like not needing to know the whys, or like what I don't know. I think that I'm noticing that what I need to know from it, it unearths itself, but it may not unearth itself in the experience.
Mm.
Like now, I'm no longer with him and it's been 2 years, and there's things that I gather through whatever work I'm doing that I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm also not team everything happens for a reason
Mm.
because I want to
Yeah.
like throat line, like clothesline. That's what I'm going for. I'm making all these like movements with my hands. Hey, I grew up in the 80s with wrestling, okay? So I was thinking of a clothesline from the old school wrestlers. When people are like, everything happens for a reason, don't come at me with that,
Mm.
please.
Yeah. Like
And
that,
so,
this will make you
oh yeah, I don't need to be
strong.
stronger. Thanks.
Mm.
Or
Or
more
like,
resilient.
yeah, yeah, it is. And also,
And I have so much trauma now. It's so amazing. So
trauma
all that
so much
strength to
fun.
navigate all that trauma I have now.
Yay.
So I guess
Mm.
what I'm saying is that I do remember clearly surrendering because I think mentally I knew I couldn't hold all the things at the same time. I couldn't hold being a mom and being a caregiver and being a partner to this person going through this experience and running a business. Like I couldn't be all these things and also be an investigator of the whys.
Mm.
And so I was just like, I'll get back to you at another time, but you can't be on my plate right now. And so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of like coping mechanisms and shit that led the way of that. But that's what I remember when I was in a real-time situation of what the fuck is going on. That I remember my brain just being like, you're just
Yeah.
in it right now, be present, be in the experience. And, now things pop up when they do, as they do. And it's just so out of our control.
Yeah. Yeah. And that idea of whatever I need to know and understand will be will be here, will be revealed for me, will be enough. Whatever it is that I can gain, like understand from it. In my case, it was like something I thought was a certain way, and then it just ended up like I felt blindsided by it. And I understand why. And I have a lot of like consciousness, like, oh yeah, I get that. And also it hit me in a deep emotional place. And it was just like a whoa, like I didn't know that was that way.
Yeah.
And it felt very super unsettling.
Hmm.
And also I I it's great that it happened because it's opened up a space for a lot of trapped energy to find its way out,
Hmm.
which is how all these things work. Like sad but true. Every time. It's that's what ends up happening.
Hmm.
Um, and I choose to believe that and keep believing that. Maybe not while I'm like in it, like crawling and shutting all the windows because I don't want to, at that point I'm like, blah. But now that I have a little bit of like, tiny bit of perspective from it, it's like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
I'm grateful that that happened and things will actually benefit from that thing. And I still don't won't understand it. And there's a lot that I'm not going to understand, I think, in a lot of ways moving forward.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I could totally see how it would be like. How do you even wrap it around and understand it?
Yeah. Well, that's our show for today. No, no, just kidding, just kidding.
Thanks for coming.
Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Why don't we take a little like a laugh break?
Okay.
Um, let's,
What are we doing?
and something, anything. Laugh break. Do, 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 do,
Are you
do,
saying
do.
laugh like ha ha ha?
Yeah. What did you
Oh,
think I was saying?
I don't know. I was just checking. I was like, are we doing a lap break? Because
Oh,
are we doing the drums in our lap? Because that could be a thing. But then I was like, I think she's saying laugh break.
yeah, just to, do a
Like,
little. Okay.
That had such a Pee Wee Herman vibe.
Oh my God. Wait, wait, wait. How did he go? Wait, how
Wait,
was it?
wait, he did the
Yeah.
thing. He
Oh,
did
like
that.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Was that the song? Or was that a different song?
Do. Yeah, I think
I don't
we're
know.
taking pieces and
I think
compiling our
I
own.
think we're compiling from our
We would
mental
appreciate it.
file folders back in the day.
I know that was a hot minute ago. The Pee
Yeah.
Wee. R.I.P. Pee Wee.
You know what I saw? It's a commercial, right? So there's some like capitalism involved, but it was actually a really sweet idea. The whole tagline was summer like it's 1999. And
Mhm.
it was a mom with a, I don't know, 11-year-old daughter doing a few things like they were playing with super soakers and she was like making some like those little pizza like bagel
Oh
bites
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah,
or you know any one of those things that we grew up with, the music, all that stuff, and they were just showing them sharing all these like, oh, like what her summer used to look like.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I thought that was such like a sweet and good idea.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
Like
That's
take your
totally fun.
kid like intentionally like, hey, today we're gonna have a 1999 kind of day and
Yeah,
listen, or whatever year, pick a year, listen to
yeah.
that music and do those things and maybe watch a movie from that time. um Obviously no phones.
No
No
phones at
phones.
all. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's actually really really sweet, and even before the tagline you can tell what they're
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah.
And it's so cute because they show like them opening the microwave. And the mom is like, wait a second, like, wait for it. I guess it's going to be so hot. And then she goes, okay, go. And it was just like, it just made me
That's great.
smile.
Yeah. The
It was sweet.
knowing. I've done this before
Yeah,
many times.
exactly. It was like,
That's really fun.
and obviously they know exactly who they're talking to
Mhm.
because I mean, that's a younger mom than you and I, right?
Yeah.
Um, but same
Yeah.
thing.
No, totally. Yeah, I was like, no, I was totally like early 20s in 1999. Mine would be childhood, like take it back to 1985.
Yeah. So wait, in 85, you were 7?
So hold on, let me do math. 7, yeah.
I was 5. I was born right smack dab in the middle of 1980. So it's very
Okay.
easy for me to know how old I am based on a
Oh, that is
year.
sweet. That
Yeah,
is
it
pretty
is. It is.
convenient.
It is very convenient. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was 5. So my sweet spot would have been like, I want to say like 95, 96, 95, maybe 10-year-old summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about like, I mean, I spent a lot of summers with my grandparents in New Jersey. And so it was a lot of like riding bikes, riding my scooter,
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
the swimming pool, going to like the YMCA and going to,
Okay, wait. Before you keep going, we'll do
okay,
it. We're gonna do a fun experiment for you and I and anybody who's listening and watching. Do it
see how
along with
excited I
us.
got?
Yeah. No, I know. Okay. So you have to pick that year, right? Pick a summer, pick a year.
Okay.
And as we say things, we're gonna remember
Mm,
the
funnies.
smell of going to the pool.
Going to the pool at the YMCA, it was nothing but chlorine.
Chlorine,
You inhaled it, probably burned my throat. It was strong. And
stink
it's
the
so weird you just
nostrils.
said that because when I said going to the YMCA to the pool, that's instantly what I remember is how potent that smell was. It just like smacked you in the face. As soon as you went from the locker room into the pool area, it was like,
You can smell it.
like going
Smell.
out on a humid day and you're breathing that hot air in.
Yeah. Okay. Bike riding. Absolutely. Bike riding. Like smell it, hear it, and smell go deeper. Smell the tire. Remember the tire smell, the
Yeah,
smell of the pavement.
yeah. Oh yeah, especially on a hot day.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
imagine you like fell and you have like a grassy thing on your knee. Like
yeah,
think about the sting of it. You
yeah.
know those little like
You're
little
dirty.
scrapes. that were
They're
full of like
dirty
dirt
kids.
and grass and you just kept them on all day and then eventually later in the day you're like, all right, we got to take care of this.
Yeah.
Oh man. What
Yeah.
else?
Well, I was a huge book nerd, so I went to summer reading at the library. Even when I
Mm,
visited my grandparents in New Jersey, I still joined the summer reading group there.
the
So
library.
definitely walking into the library and just like almost that mustiness of the books because it's older, you know.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
I'd get a gold star on the poster board and I was like, yeah.
Oh man, those the little ones, the little
Oh,
like
yeah,
foil
those.
ones.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. You got a star, I
glittering
think, for every
stars.
book that you read. And I was just like,
Oh
oh,
girl, you had
star.
a constellation.
Oh, yeah, because I came out with a mountain of books. I was just like, I'm here for all of
You're like,
this.
I'm Sage, and somewhere in my future, I'm gonna be the author of 5 books.
That's
Girl, can you imagine to like gathering that little sage in a corner in the library and going,
no.
"Psst, hey, come here." And she's like, what? I was like, it's me, 30 years in the future. Guess what? Guess what, little bish?
Hey, rebel. You're still gonna be a rebel, but you write books now.
Hey, we're about to release our 5th book. And she's like, oh, no. What would she say? What would she say?
Okay, so my first thought was she would say, what did you write about?
Oh, yeah.
What did you write about?
Would she be excited?
Yeah, I think so. I think she would be like super stoked.
Oh,
I mean, did you
man.
know my first job was at a library?
No.
Yeah, my first legit paying job. What, I mean, because babysitting and shit like that when you're a kid.
Right. Like how old? Like 16, 17, something like that?
I
Or
was younger. I was like 14. I had to get like a written
like
permission,
yeah.
parents in the school that I could work certain hours. But yeah, it was my first job. I was a page at the local library. Stamping, like hand stamping the due date cards,
Yeah.
going to the box and opening it, bringing in all the books and cleaning the bathrooms and vacuuming. And we had was it microfilm?
Yes.
Those old school, of course, card catalogs. Like we had all,
Yes. Yes. Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Wow.
I knew the Dewey. Um, Yeah, that was my first job. So it's so interesting to see like the obsession with reading and being a part of the summer reading program. And my first job was at the library and just like how that thread has evolved over my life.
Oh, my
Little
heart.
did I know. Little
Yeah.
did I know.
Wow. All right, we'll do one more smell.
Okay.
I keep thinking like a popsicle, but that's just a bonus one. Like
Yeah.
a fruity, but I'm also like the way when you bite into the stick,
Yeah.
the feeling of it, the
Oh,
taste of
yeah, that's
it.
a good one. That's a really good one. Because
Yeah.
you always like bit into the popsicle, the wooden stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
had its own like
It exactly.
papery, but not papery. Like it had its own little vibe and
It
texture.
had its
That's a
vibe.
very good one. You're good at
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I'm gonna go with, well, for me, sunblock because we did a
Yes.
lot of beach in Puerto Rico, and
Yeah.
the smell of sunblock.
Yeah.
I mean, still, it gives me like this incredible sense of like comfort and joy. And I didn't like getting sunblock applied when I was a kid. Who does? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know a kid that does.
Terrible. Yeah.
Terrible. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Thankfully my parents were pretty good about it. Appreciate that. But at the time I was like, "Meh." But that smell, yeah.
My great grandma, we would go to Seaside Heights way before Jersey Shore was on TV.
Mm.
We'd go to Seaside Heights and that was like our vacation trip every summer too. And my great grandma would lather herself in baby oil. And I could smell that, just the baby oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lather. She would just tan her 80-year-old self, 70-year-old self out there just in her little
Just
vintage
just
onesie
baking. Baking.
skin,
I
like a
was I
gator.
was recently gifted a sunblock. It's like baby oil, but has like SPF 30
Hmm.
situation. I think it's meant to be like a nostalgia thing. I
Yeah.
haven't tried it yet, but I'm curious. It's like
I-
safe baby oil.
The things that they did.
Um, so we used to every summer we went to this place called Playas del Yunque, like beaches of El Yunque, basically. And it was like this big apartment, not like high apartment, but like low, like two-story apartment complex.
Hmm.
And my dad and his brother would always like rent an apartment together. So we would take turns going, the families going on the weekends and sometimes during the week. And sometimes we would all be there together and had like other friends that lived there. And boy, oh boy, those summers were epic. Like beach, biking, pool. We were like, we could go anywhere. It was the perfect kind of wild because all the kids would just get together and we would just go roam places, but it was a pretty safe place. And so the
Yeah.
parents were like, have
Mm.
at it. We'll see you at 8 p.m.
Peace
And
out.
yeah, and my goodness, that was
You're sweeping me away. I'm like over here and like dream.
I hope anybody who's listening, hi. I know somebody's listening. I know Janine's listening. Hey boo.
Oh, hey, Janine.
Hey
Thanks
Janine.
for listening.
I hope Janine that you're being taken also back to, back in the
Tell us,
day.
Janine. Tell
Oh
us.
yeah, tell us.
Tell us what you
Some she
smell,
probably
Janine.
has some
Oh,
Jersey
wait a
Shore.
minute.
Maybe you guys were there together.
Oh, Janine.
Janine is
That's
a few years
sweet.
younger than we are,
Yeah. Okay.
but she gets it.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm
She's a little
thinking.
crony, just like us.
Well, I was thinking of like the boardwalk and just the smells, but the sounds of the games, because there was so
My
many games and
God.
people throwing things and lights blinking in the arcades. And, it was such an experience. And then they had the roller coasters and like actual rides. And then you had the beach so you could hear the waves even at night. And it was
Mm,
just that was the dreamiest thing as a kid. And then to be a teenager, like, and MTV was like so big, and then they were
uh-huh.
doing the MTV stuff at Jersey. They were doing it at Seaside Heights, and they were doing it even at the
Oh
hotel that I stayed with.
man.
It was called the Aztec, with my family, and it was so weird. It was like being a teenager living in Georgia
Uh-huh.
and then being like, that was my summer vacations as a kid. It was such a weird, like, I mean,
That's
'cause
awesome.
it was a weird time anyway to have cable and, you know,
Yeah.
all of these extra channels and experiences through the television.
Yeah, I wonder because we had so many like firsts that we
Yeah.
experienced, so many transitions of like media and so many
Yeah.
firsts and I remember all of them so distinctly. I
Yeah.
wonder what like, you know, Keith, who's a teen now, and certainly Skylar, who's
Yeah.
younger, what their experience is going to be when they're older and they're reminiscing back, if they're going to have the same sort of these milestone moments of
Mm.
whether it was technology or I mean, they'll have a lot of like cultural milestone moments of like shit going down. But you know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
saw like when you're
We saw it.
describing
It was
the
a
new
huge,
channels, like when you had to go stand up and click the TV and like,
and it got fuzzy. You're like clicking
yeah.
to find it.
Do you recall like solar flares? When solar flares would hit those analog TVs and the channels
No.
would change on their own?
No.
Oh
That would
yeah.
freak
And I
me out.
remember my dad was always like a awesome nerdy, knew so many things, dad. And so I learned a lot from him. And when those things would happen, he was like, "Oh, we're having a solar flare." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And it was just go like changing channels. And then he explained to me why. I Based on things I've heard, we've had way more solar flares and like solar activity, like,
Mhm.
it like increases as
Yeah.
time goes on. Can you, I don't know, analog TVs would go like absolutely bonkers right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I remember it happening like, a few occasions.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see because I'm definitely feeling like at a place in life, age-wise, where I'm like, wow, things are so different.
Hmm.
Like things are absolutely so different. And even talking to Heath about like music videos, because he's huge into music. and talking to him about music videos, and he's just like, the concept of the excitement of seeing that MTV was just music videos and
Yeah.
you got to see your band because you couldn't just go on YouTube and watch something or Spotify or whatever, right? And
Hmm.
so for him, it's like not an exciting thing because that's how he grew up with. YouTube
Yeah.
has everything. You Google anything,
Yeah.
witness interviews with celebrities or whoever like you're really into. And so, like, I can remember the first music video on MTV I ever saw. And I remember standing in the front of the TV,
Whoa.
like that. I
What
love that.
was it?
It was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Give It Away.
Wow.
And that was at my best friend's house who had cable before I did. And I can remember the first video I saw on my TV, which was Soul Asylum's Runaway Train video, which was also
Oh,
an
that
intense video
song.
anyway, with all the missing kid posters. And so it was such a visual experience of not only seeing the band and hearing the music, but like it was the first time that, oh, I'm getting chills. It was the first time that there was like this like message that like
Hmm.
was like an impact of like, wow, these kids are missing, they're runaways, like, and putting it together that this band did something beautiful to like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing what you can remember and like what impacted you.
Yes. Like I remember specifically, like we didn't have cable, but my grandmother had cable. One of my grandmas had cable. And so going to her house to watch like Disney and Nickelodeon, like
Oh
early,
yeah.
early, early, early. And it was like such a treat. And then getting it at our house. The music videos also humongous impact.
Yeah.
The first computer, when my dad got us like a desktop computer, I was obsessed with that thing. I've always been like a techie nerd. And what you just described reminded me of the first time that I saw um so you remember Encarta, the it was a basically like a virtual digital encyclopedia
Yes. Yes. Yes.
software. And
Yeah.
so there was this like transition into computers that could really show all of these like graphics and
Mm.
audio. And my uncle got one of those. And I remember he had a home office, he was an accountant. I remember going into his home office because he was going to show my dad and I the new thing. And I remember the smell of the AC. I remember how it felt sitting in front of the computer. And when he booted it up and the way it sounded and the way it looked. And when he started playing Encarta and there was like, it was like a parrot or a toucan or something. And I was like,
What?
what? My mind, again, chills. My mind was
Yeah.
blown into a million bits and beautiful pieces. And I was like, oh my God.
I
And
love
to think, oh my God. Everything that exists now is just so wild. But see, I wonder if our kids, and maybe they are, and we're just not like living it in the same way, but if they're going to have the same like moments of like, oh, wow, I remember when like
They
this
have to, I
dropped.
would imagine, because there's going to be so much movement and progress and
Yeah.
thing and changing that they're going to be like, remember when the phones used to look like this, but now they
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally. Totally. Of
I just can't.
course.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see. And it's so I'm really sitting here thinking about how our conversation started of like these feelings and the understanding and needing to make sense of things and like how our energy shifted
Hmm.
in this nostalgic conversation. And I don't know, the person in me is like, how do those two weave together?
Oh, man. And all the other stuff is there, right?
Mhm.
Um, And it's just, I mean, it's a testament to the power of weaving something new, right? Like gently weaving something that like lifts your spirit and maybe helps to heal that other part of us. Because even those young versions, don't make me start crying, Sage. Those young versions of ourselves that were in that library and witnessed that incredible, like computer graphic bonanza. I mean, I can just imagine them like coming in to like put their little arm around us and hold us and go like,
Yeah.
it's okay. And look at how far we've come. And just bring a sense of healing to those other parts of me that are so feel so hurt.
Hmm.
And that sort of like underneath it all, like that's the essence. Like we just described all these really beautiful, simple things. And
The things that
yeah,
mattered, the things that we remember.
yeah, like going down that beautiful trip, it's like, bringing in the appreciation and the whole sensory experience of it, which is why I was like, let's smell it, let's touch it, let's feel
Yeah.
it. Let's like,
Yeah.
like imagine yourself like peeling the little star sticker and putting it on the thing or whoever.
Like maybe that's what I need to do. I need to make my
I
own
think,
summer reading chart.
oh my God, this
Yeah.
reading the books and watching anything that brings us back. And it's like, oh, well, a naysayer might be like, oh, but then you're going to live in the past. But
I know.
no, I don't think it's
Okay.
possible based on
Turn the channel.
like we're so like we're so in it with our life. We're so in
Oh
it and we're
no, there's
so
no living in
like
the past. We don't have time for that. We don't have spaciousness for that.
however, there's certainly a lot of healing that could come from tapping into what was
Yeah.
she, you know, what was
Yeah.
she doing and what was she liking and um wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think, I don't know. I like invitations, and I think my invitation to anyone listening is like, what can you bring forth that is like a healing balm for your heart now?
Mm.
Like for me, it's like, oh, I'm really thinking about those gold stars. I bet I could go to the dollar store and find a big old pack of those gold stars
Oh, yes.
and make a poster board and track every time that I read a book.
Can
And,
you imagine?
I think, excuse me, thinking about like the joys, like the little things, the ice cream truck, and in Jersey we had the
Hmm.
icy truck and
Hmm.
the Italian ice truck, and um getting a slice of pizza at Jumbo's, like that
Hmm.
had the elephant as the graphics, and smelling the Parmesan and the fresh pizzas coming out, like,
Oh man.
and a slice was like the size of a paper plate, and it was like $1.
Right.
Like my
Exactly.
grandma would give me $2 and I would get like two meals.
And you're like living the dream.
I was
Yeah,
gone all day. I just needed one slice of Jumbo's
that's
pie.
that's it. That was the fuel. That was the fuel needed,
That was
and that's
it.
it. Oh man, we had the ice cream trucks. Ours were like Biko was the brand, and it had this
Mhm.
little song, and you can still like hear it, and it's like, hi.
Dance. We're like a zombie movie.
Oh my God. And man, a good slice of pizza.
Yeah. So maybe we just need to bring some healing, a little healing balm from
Yeah.
joys of little MA, little Sage, little whoever you are
Little
out there.
little you.
Little you.
Yeah. I think that's really worthwhile.
I do too. Like I just feel like this ease and this peace and like
Hmm.
almost a what were my worries kind of moment. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it'll
because
return in like a minute, but like but in this moment.
in this moment, it's also, I think, a worthy perspective of, time passing, things changing, us changing, how we will reminisce back on this period of our lives later on,
Right.
we'll be
It's gonna
thinking
be
back to,
sweet.
do you remember when we were, was it what will be after Zoom? You and I will be like hologram podcasting together. Well, no, because we're gonna live in the same compound.
That's right.
You're
That's
gonna
right.
have your
We'll have
house.
a
I'm gonna have
compound. Yeah.
we'll have a podcast
Yeah.
shed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very high tech though. Like
Yeah.
adorable, but very high tech
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet each other there. So that's that. We won't need the
Yeah.
holograms.
Yeah. Just put a pin in
But
that. We'll see you
just put a
then.
yeah, hold that thought. But all of those things we will be, reminiscing about at some point. And man, our parents back then had heavy, heavy concerns.
Yeah.
The adults in our lives were going through the shit that we're going through, and then some.
Yeah.
Our grandparents,
Hmm.
and the fact that we still have those things to call back upon is really powerful because it's and to know that there are so many other kids out there that are experiencing those things now, shaping those memories now, so that energy
Yeah.
is alive.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
beautiful thing.
that's beautiful to like think like,
Yeah.
oh, like Heath is having his like
Yeah.
summer, like he's gonna,
Having his teenage summer, his
eh,
MTV summer.
his MTV summer, and Skylar's in Puerto Rico right now having a
Yeah.
summer
The
that's like
grandparent summer.
with the grandparents, and he'll be, he went snorkeling and he's doing all these things, and he's like, he's come alive with all these experiences that I'm so glad they can have. So, we can borrow a little bit of that too and
We can.
add it to our trauma tea,
Our TT.
lighten a little bit.
Ooh.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
That felt good.
Hmm. Yeah. Lovely.
I'm just ready for those gold stars.
Yeah. Those gold stars are like calling. They're calling you. Sage.
Read a book.
Read a book. Sage. Oh my God. All right, friends. Well, thank you for joining us.
For sure.
And hopefully, this episode made you realize that all the feels are always on tap,
Yeah.
all of them. And we can make space for all of them. So here we go. Thanks for the love, the likes, the comments, the subscribes. And oh my God, your
What's happening?
book, your book, your book.
I wrote a book.
She wrote a book.
I wrote a.
It's
Oh wait.
alive. It exists.
Oh wait. It's right
Oh,
here.
wait. Oh, we did. Oh, there. The Art of Intuitive Structure by best-selling author Sage Adderley.
It's me.
June 28th, this book is alive and well. And if you want to help Sage hype up the book and give it some love, she's got a beautiful hype squad going. And so I'm a part of it.
Yeah, she
You should be a
is.
part of it too. And all it requires is sharing with your community in whatever capacity you can, because helping each other and bringing these beautiful things to life is just more of that good juice. This is a very healing book.
Mm. Yeah.
It's a very healing book. It's a book that will help you uncover and uncork some things and show you where to follow this intuitive path to actually like making things happen.
Hmm.
And it is incredibly healing. So it's
Yeah.
perfect summer reading.
Totally. It's a coming back home to yourself kind of book. It's
Mhm.
like helping you decipher what's somebody else's noise and what's your intuition and how do you use that in your creativity?
Yes. Yes. So if you are a writer, aspiring writer, or if all you do is write greeting cards and
Mhm.
emails,
Yeah.
anything, we're all writing and we're all creating. And so again, this whole idea of like, oh, I'm a writer, I'm not a writer. This book, it's truly,
Yeah.
truly is for like anybody that wants to express a
Yeah.
creative aspect of your life, which just using your voice is creation in action.
Yeah.
So for me, that the book is actually a really powerful tool to just uncork your voice, because
Oh,
whether
for
you're
sure.
writing it or you're just like sharing it,
Yeah.
it's same.
Yeah. Because fun fact, I don't really believe in writer's block. I think what it
Mm,
is the block here and it shows up in the writing. And
hot
so I think
take.
sometimes the writer's block is a band-aid, but it's
Yeah.
actually if we could uncork, yeah,
Yeah.
that throat action, the
Yeah.
heart action, like the words will come.
I'm gonna also call it the talker's block.
Okay. It's
Writer's block, talker's block. You know
Tucker's
the
block.
feeling. I
It's
don't get
true.
it anymore. Oh my God, but I remember before really working out on like, okay, expressing myself, all the times that you have conversation with someone and you're like, uh, the
Yeah.
words are right
It's
there
a
and you just
thing.
can't get it. It's a thing.
Yeah. How many times do I go to say something and if it's like I start like my voice is cracking or I'm coughing or like it's an energetic thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So beautiful book, beautiful book. I love that it's going to be out in the world soon.
so
And
soon.
on that note, we bid you adieu and we thank you for being here and we send you our love and go have some beautiful 10, 11-year-old you memories out there.
Yeah. The good
Yeah.
ones, the good ones,
The
they're
good
there.
ones, the good
They're there.
ones. There
Get
might
them
be
there.
some bad ones sprinkled in.
Yeah,
It's
we
okay.
got the bad ones too, but we're just focusing
It's
on the
okay.
healing
We're
ones.
gonna hug the little bad ones, but the good healing ones. Bye, everybody.
Bye.